The door creaked open like a scream stifled in the throat, and there they were. My sister Becca, her husband Tom, and his smug-faced parents, lounging in my living room as if they'd owned the place for years. The air hit me first, thick with the greasy scent of frying bacon and the stale tang of cheap red wine, overwriting the pine-fresh solitude I'd craved. Becca's eyes widened for a split second, her fork hovering mid-air over a plate of eggs, before she plastered on that saccharine smile I knew too well, the one that hid knives. "Alex, what are you doing here?" she chirped, as if I were the intruder in my own goddamn mountain lodge. Fury exploded in my chest like a shotgun blast, hot and scattering, because in that instant I saw the truth. The fresh paint on the walls, Tom's tools scattered on my workbench, and worst of all, the family photos on the mantel. Their family, not ours, erasing any trace of Mom and Dad, whose inheritance had bought this sanctuary for me alone. They'd moved in. They'd claimed it. And as Tom's mother clucked her tongue in feigned surprise, I felt the betrayal sink its teeth into my heart, ripping open wounds I'd come here to heal. I stood frozen in the doorway, snow melting off my boots onto the hardwood floor I'd refinished myself last summer, the chill seeping into my bones contrasting the roaring fire in the stone hearth. My mind reeled, denial crashing like waves against a crumbling cliff. This couldn't be real. I'd driven 6 hours through twisting mountain roads, tires crunching over fresh powder, envisioning nothing but quiet days with a book and a bottle of whiskey to numb the ache of my recent divorce. Refresh, the therapist had said. Reclaim your space. But here was Becca, rising from the couch with arms outstretched, her belly swollen under a loose sweater. Pregnant? When had that happened? "Sis, we didn't expect you so soon," she said, her voice laced with that faux warmth, pulling me into a hug that felt like a trap. Her perfume, floral and overpowering, choked me. Tom's hand clapped my shoulder too hard, his grin all teeth. "Good to see you, Alex. Come on in, join us for breakfast." His parents nodded from the table, forks scraping plates, their eyes appraising me like I was the guest who'd overstayed. Humiliation burned in my throat as I shrugged off my coat, hanging it on the peg that now held Tom's flannel jacket. How long had they been here? The lodge, perched on the edge of a forested ridge in the Rockies, was my escape. 2 bedrooms, a loft, wraparound porch overlooking a valley that turned gold in autumn. I'd bought it with the life insurance from our parents' accident 5 years ago, the one that left me shattered and Becca. Well, Becca had always resented that I'd gotten the bulk of it, claiming I'd manipulated the will. But this, squatting like parasites. I forced a smile, my jaw aching. "What's going on? I thought you were in the city." Becca exchanged a glance with Tom, quick as a flicker, before guiding me to the kitchen. "We needed a break too, Alex. The apartment's too cramped with the baby coming, and Tom's job fell through. We figured. Since you're never here." Her words trailed off, but the implication hung heavy. "It's ours now." Rage simmered beneath my skin, a slow boil, as I noticed the changes. The new curtains, the rearranged furniture, even the fridge stocked with their favorites. Heartbreak twisted in, sharp as a splinter. Becca, my little sister, the one I'd protected through foster care after our parents died, had turned on me. We sat at the table, the wood scarred from years of my solitary meals, now crowded with their plates. Tom's father, Harold, a retired accountant with a perpetual squint, cleared his throat. "Beautiful place you've got here, Alex. Real potential." "Potential for what?" His wife, Marlene, chimed in, her voice nasal and probing. "We've been helping fix it up. That leaky roof. Tom's got it sealed." I nodded, fingers gripping my coffee mug until my knuckles whitened, the steam rising like my suppressed fury. Inside, fantasies swirled, smashing the mug against Tom's smug face, watching blood mix with the coffee. But no, not yet. Doubt crept in. Maybe I was overreacting. Becca was family. Blood. Yet as she prattled on about the nursery they planned in the loft, my reading nook, resentment coiled tighter, a venomous snake in my gut. "You didn't ask," I said finally, my voice low, trembling. Becca's eyes met mine, a flash of guilt there, quickly masked. "We tried calling but you never pick up. After your divorce. We thought you'd understand." Understand. The word ignited obsession, a dark flame. They'd exploited my vulnerability, swooped in while I was broken. That afternoon, as snow flurried outside, blanketing the pines in white silence, I excused myself to unpack in the guest room, my master bedroom now occupied by Becca and Tom. The space felt violated, their clothes in the drawers, a ultrasound photo on the nightstand. I paced, breath ragged, the wooden floor creaking under my boots like accusations. Inner turmoil raged. Denial whispered they meant no harm, but evidence screamed otherwise. In the closet, I found a stack of papers. Legal documents. My heart hammered as I rifled through. A quitclaim deed, forged with my signature, transferring the lodge to Becca. How? When? Flashbacks assaulted me. Last Christmas, when they'd visited my apartment, I'd left my ID out. Humiliation deepened to obsession. They'd planned this. Stole from me. My hands shook as I photographed the pages with my phone, guilt nibbling at the edges. Was spying on family wrong? But no, this was survival. Cold resolve hardened. I'd make them pay. Not with violence, that was too crude. Something slower, more poetic. Revenge brewed in my mind like storm clouds gathering over the peaks. Dinner that evening was a masterclass in tension, the clink of silverware echoing in the dim light of the chandelier I'd hung myself. Tom dominated the conversation, boasting about his entrepreneurial ventures. His voice booming off the log walls. This place could be a goldmine, Alex. Herbs are huge up here. His parents nodded eagerly, Marlene's laugh grating like nails on chalk. Becca avoided my gaze, picking at her food, her hand protectively on her belly. I forced small talk, each word a calculated probe. How long have you been here exactly? Shrugged. Couple months. Figured you'd be cool with it. Cool. My mind raced with plans. Call a lawyer? Evict them. But up here, isolated by snow-choked roads, options were limited. Suspense built in the quiet moments. A shared look between Tom and Harold, Becca's nervous fidgeting. Was there more? Later, as they retired, I crept downstairs, the house groaning in the wind. In the study, I found emails on Tom's open laptop, forgotten in his arrogance. Messages to a realtor. The sisters out of the picture. We can flip it soon. Betrayal crystallized into hatred. They weren't just staying, they were stealing my legacy. Sleepless that night, the guest bed lumpy and foreign, I stared at the ceiling beams, moonlight filtering through frost-laced windows. Emotions layered like sediment. Anger at Becca's duplicity, heartbreak over our fractured bond. We'd shared everything once, whispered secrets under blankets during stormy nights. Now, resentment festered, obsessing over every slight. Guilt pricked. Maybe I'd been distant, too absorbed in my own pain after the divorce. But no, this was unforgivable. Fantasies evolved, poisoned their trust, turned them against each other. Doubt assailed. Was I becoming the monster? Moral conflict tore at me. Revenge felt justified, yet tainted. By dawn, as the first light gilded the snow-capped mountains visible from my window, resolve solidified. I'd play the gracious host, gather intel, strike when they least expected. The game had begun. Days blurred into a slow-burn charade, the lodge a pressure cooker of suppressed rage. Mornings brought forced camaraderie. Coffee on the porch, steam curling in the crisp air, the distant call of ravens punctuating awkward silences. Becca tried bridging the gap, her voice soft one afternoon as we chopped wood, the axe thudding into logs with rhythmic finality. Alex, I'm sorry we didn't ask. Things got bad. Tom lost his job and with the baby. Her eyes welled, but I saw the manipulation, the way she leaned on our history. You always said family first. I swung the axe harder, splinters flying, the metallic tang of sap in the air. Family doesn't forge deeds, Becca. She paled, the confession slipping out in her shock. It was Tom's idea. He said it'd be temporary. Temporary. Ways. Inside, obsession grew, planning every move. Befriend Harold, exploit his loose lips over whiskey. That evening, as flames danced in the hearth, Casting flickering shadows on the walls, I poured drinks. Harold, cheeks ruddy, spilled. Tom's got debts. Big ones. This place saves us. Confirmation. Tension ratcheted. Tom's eyes narrowed across the room, sensing the shift. Fear mingled with resolve as I hiked the trails alone, boots crunching frozen earth, the wind whispering through evergreens like conspirators. What if they discovered my photos? Moral grayness weighed. Ruining them could destroy the baby's future. But justice demanded it. Subtle hints emerged. Tom's whispered arguments with Becca at night, doors slamming, voices muffled through walls. Foreshadowing their cracks. I planted seeds. Casual mentions of legal troubles to Marlene, watching her worry lines deepen. Suspense thickened, every creak in the night a potential confrontation. By week's end, as a storm brewed outside, thunder rumbling like distant artillery, I sat in the loft, now cluttered with baby gear, drafting an email to my lawyer. Heart pounding, fingers hovering over send. The pursuit had begun. The storm hit that night like judgment from the peaks, wind howling through the eaves, snow lashing the windows in furious sheets. I lay awake, the guest room shrouded in darkness, broken only by lightning flashes that illuminated the cracks in the ceiling, much like the fissures I'd begun to exploit in their fragile alliance. Cold resolve had replaced the initial fury, a calculated frost settling over my heart. But guilt lingered, a shadow in the corners. Becca's unborn child, innocent in this web. Obsession drove me forward. Fantasies now blueprints. Expose their fraud, dismantle their lives piece by piece. Downstairs I heard murmurs, Tom's voice sharp, Becca's pleading. "We can't keep this up," she hissed. "Alex knows." His reply muffled. "She won't do shit. She's weak." Weak. The word fueled me, turning doubt to steel. Moral conflict raged. Was I stooping to their level? But no, this was reclamation. Morning dawned gray and muffled, the world buried under 2 feet of fresh snow, the lodge isolated as a tomb. Power flickered out, generator humming to life with a reluctant growl. We gathered in the kitchen, candles casting wavering light on tense faces. Tom's eyes darted to me, suspicion etched in his frown. "Roads are blocked. We're stuck." His parents huddled by the fire, Marlene wringing her hands. Becca, pale and drawn, avoided my gaze, her hand on her belly as if shielding the child from the storm within. I smiled inwardly, pouring coffee with steady hands, the aroma grounding amidst the chaos. "Plenty of supplies. We'll manage." Dialogue dripped with subtext. Harold's grumble about city comforts revealed their discomfort. Tom's forced jokes hid anxiety. I probed gently. "Tom, what exactly happened with your job?" He stiffened, fork scraping plate. "Layoffs. Economy's shit." From his emails I'd pieced it. Embezzlement fled to hide. Revenge's foundation strengthened. As days dragged, cabin fever amplified tension, the lodge's walls closing in like a vice. Sensory details sharpened the unease. The constant drip from melting icicles outside, the creak of settling beams, the metallic bite of cold air seeping through cracks. I orchestrated quiet sabotage, hiding tools, subtly questioning alliances. One evening, by the fire's crackle, embers popping like gunfire, I cornered Marlene alone. "Tom seems stressed. Anything I should know?" Her eyes, watery in the firelight, betrayed her. "He's in trouble, dear. Debts from bad investments. We thought this place." She trailed off, guilt flashing. I nodded sympathetically, planting doubt. "Becca deserves better." The seed took root. That night, whispers escalated to shouts from their room, doors slamming, Becca's sobs piercing the silence. Inner triumph warred with remorse. Heartbreak at fracturing my sister, yet resentment justified it. Obsession deepened. I'd turn them inward, let self-destruction do the work. Pacing built suspense. Quiet calculations interspersed with escalating confrontations. I feigned concern, helping Becca with chores, our hands brushing as we washed dishes, suds foaming in the sink. "Why, Becca?" After everything. My voice cracked, authentic pain surfacing. She hesitated, tears welling. Tom convinced me. Said you'd abandoned us. But the deed. I didn't want to. Confession cracked her facade, revealing layers. Fear of poverty, manipulation by Tom, lingering sisterly love twisted by envy. Mom always favored you, she whispered. The admission stung, unveiling hidden motives. Our parents' uneven affection breeding her resentment. Moral grayness blurred. Was her betrayal born of pain I'd ignored? Doubt assailed, but resolve held. You could have asked. Her nod, heavy with regret, fueled my plan's next phase. Tom's unraveling accelerated. His bravado crumbling under isolation's weight. He drank heavily, bottle clinking against glass in the dim study, the scent of bourbon permeating the air. I joined him one night, firelight dancing on his flushed face. Rough times, I said, pouring. He slurred admissions. Needed a fresh start. The lodge. It's prime real estate. Arrogance slipped to desperation. Cops might be looking. Foreshadowing his downfall. I nodded, masking glee as fear gnawed. What if he lashed out? Physical threat loomed, his bulk shadowing mine. But I had leverage, the photos, emails forwarded to my cloud. Suspense peaked during a blackout, generator failing. Darkness absolute save for flashlight beams slicing the void. Tom's voice boomed. Where's my laptop? Panic edged his tone. I'd hidden it buying time. The climax brewed as the storm waned, roads clearing like veins reopening. Becca confronted me in the loft. Sunlight piercing thinning clouds, illuminating dust motes swirling like unsettled thoughts. Alex, please. Don't call the police. For the baby. Her plea, raw and desperate, layered with emotion, love, fear, manipulation. I hesitated, inner conflict storming. Destroy them or forgive. But obsession won. You betrayed me. Tears streamed as she revealed more. Tom had forged not just the deed, but siphoned my accounts. Small amounts unnoticed in my grief. Humiliation reignited fury. He said it'd be repaid, she sobbed. Cold resolve. I'd expose him but spare her if possible. That night tension snapped. Tom, drunk and cornered, lunged in the living room. Flames roaring in the hearth, shadows leaping like demons. You bitch. You think you can ruin me. His hands grabbed my collar, breath reeking. Harold pulled him back, Marlene wailing. Becca screamed, clutching her belly. In the chaos I revealed the photos, phone screen glowing. It's over. He paled, collapsing. But the twist unfurled. As police sirens wailed up the thawing road, summoned by my anonymous tip, Becca whispered. I called them too. For us. Shock jolted me, she'd turned on him, her own betrayal mirroring mine. Poetic justice. Tom arrested for fraud. His parents complicit in silence. Becca spared charges, left with me, our bond scarred but mending. Yet unexpected consequences lingered. Guilt over the child's fatherless start, my revenge's hollowness. As they drove away, snow melting into rivulets, I stood on the porch, the lodge mine again, but echoing with ghosts. Revenge tasted bittersweet, a cold wind sweeping the valley clean.